All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about a piece of technology that honestly feels like it just breaks the laws of physics. It solves a problem that, when you first hear it, seems completely, totally impossible. Seriously, think about that for a second. How on earth do you perform open heart surgery on a jet engine 30,000 feet in the air without the whole thing just falling out of the sky? It sounds like a riddle, right? Something out of a movie. But what if I told you that in the world of computers, this exact kind of impossible feat happens literally every single day? And that's exactly what we're getting into today. In the tech world, this magic is called live migration. It's the wild idea that you can move a running computer from one piece of physical hardware to another without ever turning it off. And the technology that really pioneered all of this is called VMware vMotion. So let's just break that down. vMotion takes a running virtual machine, and you can just think of a VM as a whole computer with its own operating system, its own apps, everything, all living inside software. And it just lifts it up and moves it to a totally different physical server. But the key parts here, the words that matter most, are zero downtime and no interruption. And this right here, this says it all. Zero. That's how much downtime your apps get. That's how much your users notice. Nothing. It is the most important number in this whole explainer because it represents a complete revolution in how we think about IT. This wasn't just a small improvement. This was the complete elimination of a problem that had plagued tech folks for decades. Okay, so how is this even possible? I mean, it's not actually magic, of course. It's just some incredibly clever engineering. So let's pull back the curtain and see how this trick is really done. It basically all happens in three main steps. First, the system copies the virtual machine's entire live state. We're talking its active memory, what the CPU is thinking about right now, all its network info, the whole shebang, and sends it over the network to a new server. And get this, the original VM is still running while all this is happening. Step two, and this is absolutely critical, is that it preserves its identity. The VM keeps the exact same IP address, all its connections stay active, it's like it never moved at all. And then finally, there's the cutover. It's this near instantaneous switch where the new machine takes over. We're talking milliseconds here, so fast that to the outside world, absolutely nothing happens. So, okay, the tech itself is just mind-bendingly cool, but what's the point? Why is this so important in the real world? Well, this is where the magic becomes incredibly practical. So why is this such a game changer? Well, for a bunch of huge reasons. Let's say you need to do maintenance on a server. Before, that meant scheduling downtime at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. Now, you just vMotion everything off it, do your work, and move it all back. Done. No downtime. Or what if one server is getting slammed with work while another's just sitting there bored? You can just shift some VMs over and balance the load in real time. You can even move a really demanding application to a beefier server on the fly to give it more horsepower. And maybe most importantly, if a server starts showing signs that it's about to fail, you can proactively evacuate it, avoiding a disaster before it even happens. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. It sums up the biggest, most powerful use case. Planned downtime used to be a necessary evil. It was just a fact of life for anyone working in IT. vMotion came along and said, what if it wasn't? For tons of companies, it simply erased that problem from existence. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so you're just moving some files around, right? It's a great question, and it really gets to the core of what makes this so special. Because no, it's so much more than that. Moving the files is only part of the story, and it's not even the part that vMotion itself handles. Let's think of it this way. vMotion moves the computer's consciousness, its active brain, its short-term memory, from one body to another. There's a different but related technology called storage vMotion, and that is responsible for moving its filing cabinet, the actual hard drive files from one storage room to another. Both are amazing and both can happen live, but they are two very different operations. So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. vMotion fundamentally breaks the link between your running applications and the specific piece of metal they happen to be living on. Before this, your software was shackled to its hardware. If the hardware needed to be patched or replaced, the software went down with it. It had no choice. But now, that application is free. It can just float across a whole pool of physical resources, completely unaware that its home is changing underneath its feet. And that freedom is really the big idea that brings us to our final thought. This concept, decoupling the software from the hardware, It changed everything. It proved that the digital place where our work happens doesn't have to be a fixed physical location at all. So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. If we can make a running computer's physical location completely irrelevant, what other physical limitations are we about to erase next?